Good morning, children. Hope you all are fine. We have completed our second unit. Before moving on to third unit, let me tell you something. We live in a land of diversity. People around us belong to different race, religion, caste, sex. They speak different languages. They differ in their thoughts, ideas, intentions, likes and dislikes. They think differently and they act differently. Just think about a garden. A garden becomes really beautiful when it has got flowers of different colors, shades and fragrance. Similarly, it is the diversity that renders beauty to our society. But some people are treated unfairly because of their race, language, religion, caste, etc. Do you think this is right? No, it isn't. Once Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation, was thrown out of the train in South Africa because of his skin color. He was traveling in the first class coach while some white men came and just threw him out of the train due to racial discrimination. Later, Gandhiji has fought against racial discrimination. Nelson Mandela was yet another person who fought against racial discrimination. Nelson Mandela is the former president of South Africa. He was the president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. He was the first black president of South Africa. Today, let's read an extract from the biography of Nelson Mandela. It will give us a picture of his childhood. All of you, please take your textbook. Take page number 30. Our third chapter is titled A Country Childhood. Here country refers to rural area. Okay. Here country refers to small settlements outside the capital. Small settlements outside large urban areas. Country. Okay. Country refers to rural area. A country childhood. Get, set, go, which means let's get started. Some people are treated unfairly because of their skin color, race, caste or religion. Some people are being discriminated against. Some people are treated unfairly because of their skin color, race. What do you mean by race? People belong to different races. In Malayalam we say Vamsham. People belong to different races like Mongoloid, Negroid, Caucasoid. Okay? These are the three main races, human races. You will learn it in EVS classes. Negroid race are mostly seen in African countries, in Africa. Then Mongoloid race is mostly seen in Asian countries. And Caucasoid race is mostly seen in European countries. Okay? Negroid are the black people. Caucasoid are the white people. Okay? So people are treated unfairly because of their skin color, race, caste or religion. Do you think this is right? Do you think it's a right practice to discriminate people on the ground of their color, race, caste and religion? Write a sentence on what you think about this. Here you have got two blanks. Please write a sentence on what you think about this sort of discrimination. It is not right to treat someone differently because of their skin color, race or religion. We are all human beings after all. You can write anything here. You can write your feeling. Then, if a child comes to your school who looks or sounds different from you, for example, has a different skin color or a different accent, how would you behave? Circle the options you think are correct. Just imagine that a child with a different race, or a different accent or different skin color comes to your school, then how will you treat that child? How will you behave to that child? Will you discriminate him or her? Circle the options you think are correct. Will you run away from that child, or will you make friends with that child? Do not speak to her or him. Make fun of her or him. Be kind and friendly. Laugh at her or him. Learn about her or him. Ignore her or him. What will be your answer? How will you treat that child with a different skin color and a different accent? Just circle your answer. Okay? Next, imagine that you had to move to a faraway country and join a new school. You are the only child from your country in that school. Suppose you had to move to a faraway country. You had to shift to another country and join a new school. Then, just think that you are the only child from your country. You are the only Indian in that school. You look different, sound different, and everyone is a stranger. How would you feel? How would you like to be treated? Discuss in class. You should tell me the answer for this during our Google Meet session, okay? My answer is, I would want others to be kind and friendly towards me. I would want to know more about them and also tell them about myself and my country. Nelson Mandela fought the unjust system of apartheid in South Africa. What do you mean by apartheid? Apartheid is a policy of discrimination on grounds of race. Apartheid refers to a policy of discrimination on grounds of race. വംശത്തിൻ്റെ പേരിലുള്ള വിവേചനം. ഓക്കെ, വർണ്ണവിവേചനം. Nelson Mandela fought the unjust system of apartheid. Apartheid means Varna Vivejana in South Africa. After a long struggle, after a long battle, the original inhabitants means the original natives, the natives of South Africa, won the right to rule themselves. Nelson Mandela became the first colored president of the nation. Nelson Mandela became the first black president of the nation. Read this excerpt. Excerpt means extract. Okay, a piece taken from his biography. Excerpt means extract or a piece taken from his biography. Biography means an account of someone's life written by somebody else. A story of a person written by somebody else. ഒരാളെക്കുറിച്ച് വേറൊരാൾ എഴുതുന്നത്. In Malayalam we say ജീവചരിത്രം. Okay, biography. So, today we can read a small piece, a small extract taken from the biography of Nelson Mandela. We know that Nelson Mandela had fought for the rights of black people in South Africa. Finally, he won the battle and he became the first colored president. He became the first black president of South Africa. Let's read this together. My mother presided over 3 huts at Kunu. So, Nelson Mandela's mother presided over. Here presided over means managed. Nelson Mandela's mother managed 3 huts at Kunu. Kunu is a small rural village in South Africa. Kunu is a small rural village in South Africa. So, Nelson Mandela's mother looked after, took care of, managed 3 huts at Kunu. Hut, kudil, okay, small house, hut, usually made out of straw and all. As I remember, These were always filled with the babies and children of my relatives. These 3 huts were always filled with the babies and children of my relatives. In fact, actually, I hardly recall any moment as a child when I was alone. In fact, to be frank, actually I hardly recall. I don't remember any moment as a child when I was alone. I don't remember any moment when I had to spend there alone, because the 3 huts were always filled with the children and babies of my relatives. In African culture, the sons and daughters of one's aunts or uncles are brothers and sisters, not cousins. Children, we usually call the children of our aunt or uncle as our cousins. They are our cousins. The children of our aunt and uncle are our cousins. But as per African culture, in African culture, the sons and daughters of one's aunts or uncles are brothers and sisters. They are not considered as cousins. Instead, they are considered as one's own siblings. We have no half brothers or half sisters or aunts or uncles. My mother's sister is my mother. My uncle's son is my brother. My brother's child is my son. In African culture, there is no aunt, uncle and cousins. Instead of cousins, they are considering the children as their own siblings. And they are considering their uncle as their father. And they call their aunt as mother. Okay? That's the intimacy the native Africans had with each other. Okay? They were so close. They were so intimate. We are talking about the old African culture. Changes might have happened by the passage of time. Of my mother's 3 huts, one was used for cooking, one for sleeping and one for storage. So, Nelson Mandela's mother managed 3 huts, and of these 3 huts, one hut was used for cooking. In that hut, all these people did the cooking activities. Okay, the cooking was done in one hut and they slept in another hut, and one hut was kept for storage. They used the 3rd hut for storing things. In the hut in which we slept, there was no furniture in the proper sense. So, in the hut where they slept, there was no furniture. We slept on mats and sat on the ground. So, there were no cords and all. There were no cot, chair and all, chair, table and all. They slept on mats. Mat means, Malayalam we say paya. They slept on mats and sat on the ground. They simply sat on the mere ground. There was no chair or cot. I did not discover pillows until much later. He hadn't seen any pillows in his childhood. Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, hadn't seen any pillow during his childhood. Pillow, thalena. Okay. My mother cooked food in a 3-legged iron pot over an open fire in the center of the hut or outside. My mother cooked food in a 3-legged iron pot. You can see the picture of the 3-legged iron pot. Over an open fire in the center of the hut or outside. So there was no gas facility and all as we have now. Everything we ate, we grew and made ourselves. So we ate whatever we got. Okay? Whatever dishes our mothers prepared, that we ate. And we grew together. From an early age, since my childhood, I spent most of my free time in the veld. I spend most of my leisure time or free time in the veld. Veld means open grassland in South Africa. Another word for grassland is meadow. Okay, meadow. M-E-A-D-O-W. So, veld is the open grassland in South Africa. Nelson Mandela spent most of his free time in the veld, playing and fighting with the other boys of the village. At night, I shared my food and blanket with these same boys. So, during the daytime, Nelson Mandela spent most of his time in the veld, in the grassland in South Africa. What did he do from there? He played and fought with the boys in the village. And at night, he shared food and blanket with these same boys. Okay. I was no more than 5 when I started looking after sheep and calves in the fields. So at the age of 5, he started looking after sheep and calves in the fields. He started to take care of the sheep and calves. I learned to gather wild honey. I learned to collect wild honey. Wild honey, kaatuthen. Then fruits and edible roots. Edible means something which is suitable and safe to eat. So in his childhood, Nelson Mandela learned to gather wild honey. He learned to collect wild honey, fruits and edible roots. Can you give me some examples for edible roots? Food such as carrot, radish, beetroot, sweet potato, etc. I could swim in the clear, cold streams. Stream is a small, narrow river. A small, narrow river. You can write the meaning in your textbook if it is a new word for you. So, he went for swimming in the streams and catch fish with strong thread and sharpened bits of wire. He used to go for fishing. I also learned to stick fight. Stick fight means fight with sticks. A children's game. Okay? It's a game played by the children. Children are very fond of playing with sticks. So he also learned to stick fight. I learned to love the veld. He learned to love the open grassland, the open spaces, the simple beauties of nature, the clean line of the horizon. What do you mean by horizon? Clean line of the horizon, the line where the land and the sky seem to meet. Okay? The line where the earth's surface, where the land and the sky seem to meet. Horizon. As boys, we were mostly left to ourselves. They were left out to play, wander and do whatever they like. We played with toys that we made ourselves. They did not play with the toys that they bought from the shop. Instead, they played with the toys that they made themselves. We made animals and birds out of clay. Clay means kalimanna. They made the models of animals and birds out of clay. We made ox-drawn sledges out of tree branches. Sledge is a kind of vehicle drawn by animals. Okay, here carts without wheels. A sledge is a kind of vehicle without wheels. You can see the picture if you Google it, or else I will show you the picture during our Google Meet session. We made ox-drawn sledges out of tree branches. Using the tree branches, these children, Nelson Mandela and his friends, made ox-drawn sledges. Nature was our playground. We sat on flat stones and slid down the face of the large rocks. So, they lived in the lap of nature. We did this until our backsides were so sore. Sore means painful, aching. We did this until they sat on the flat stones and rocks until their backsides were so painful we could hardly sit down. They played with all the elements in nature. I learned to ride atop cars. Atop means on the top of. Atop, on the top of. I learned to ride on the top of cars. After being thrown to ground several times, one got the hang of it. One got the hang of it means one learned it by trying again and again. We learn many things by trying again and again. If we give up the try, then we won't learn anything. We learn most of the things after several attempts. So, Nelson Mandela, as a child, learned to ride on top of cars. He was thrown to the ground several times, but he kept on trying. At last, he succeeded. When Nelson Mandela grew up, he became the leader of the African people. When Nelson Mandela grew up, he fought for the rights of the blacks in Africa. He was a loving man who made friends wherever he went. As a president, he had visited many countries, and wherever he went and whoever he met, he always made friends with them. He was such a loving man. His one-time assistant, the adjective one-time means former, previous. His former assistant, Jesse Duarte, relates these incidents about him. Jesse Duarte was his personal assistant. She is a political activist. She talks about one of the incidents that happened in Nelson Mandela's life. Let's see what it is. He always made his own bed, no matter where he travelled. So, his personal assistant says that Nelson Mandela always made his own bed, no matter where we travelled. I remember we were once in China in a luxury hotel. See children, made his own bed. What do you mean by make one's own bed? Make one's own bed means to clean up or rearrange the bedclothes after one's sleep. Okay? To fold the bed sheets and all after waking up in the morning. So he always made his own bed no matter where we travelled. I remember we were once in China in a luxury hotel and I said to him, please don't make your own bed because it's against Chinese hospitality. Once Nelson Mandela and his assistant visited China and they lived in a luxury hotel. Then his personal assistant, Jesse Duarte, advised him not to make up the bed, not to do that job on himself because it's against Chinese hospitality. Hospitality means friendly, welcoming behavior towards guests. In Malayalam we say Aditya Maryada. The hospitality differs from region to region and from country to country. So, if the president cleans up the bed himself, then it will be against Chinese hospitality. So, Jesse Duarte advises him not to do that. Then, what did he say? He said, call the ladies who clean the room. Please call the ladies who clean the room. When they came, he explained to them that he always made his own bed. He always cleaned his bed himself. He never asked any servant or helper to do that. He always did that job on himself. So you need not feel insulted. They should not feel insulted. He didn't ever want to hurt people's feelings. He never wanted to hurt people. He never wanted to hurt people's feelings. He cared so much about others. Here is an incident told by Richard Stengel, who worked with Mandela on his autobiography. Richard Stengel is an American editor, author and government official. Okay, Richard Stengel is an American editor, author and government official. And Richard Stengel had worked with Mandela on his autobiography. While Mandela was writing his autobiography, Richard Stengel had worked with him. Then, do you know the name of Mandela's autobiography? What's the title of Nelson Mandela's autobiography? Long Walk to Freedom. Mandela's autobiography is titled long walk to freedom. What do you mean by autobiography? Autobiography is an account of a person written by that person itself. The story of a person written by that person himself. Okay? You should be able to distinguish between biography and autobiography. Biography is an account of someone's life written by somebody else. Biography is a story of a person written by somebody else. This is an extract taken from Nelson Mandela's biography. Autobiography is a story of a person written by that person himself. Okay. So, it happened on an aeroplane trip in Natal in South Africa. So, Richard Stengel narrates an incident that happened on an aeroplane trip in Natal. Natal is a place in South Africa. As soon as Mandela boarded the aeroplane, he picked up a newspaper and read everything in it. As soon as Mandela got into the aeroplane, he started reading a newspaper. I was sitting right across him and he pointed out of the window. So I was sitting very next to him. I was sitting near him and he pointed out of the window. He asked me to look out of the window. I saw to my horror that the propeller had stopped working. I saw to my horror. I was shocked to see that the propeller had stopped working. Propeller means the blades that turn to move a ship, helicopter, etc. Okay, the blades, the fan-like thing. The blades that turn to move a ship, helicopter, etc. The propeller of an aircraft is also known as air screw. Okay, air screw. So he was shocked to see that the propeller had stopped working. Nelson Mandela said calmly, "Richard, would you like to inform the pilot that the propeller isn't working?" So Nelson Mandela asked Richard, "Would you like to inform the pilot that the propeller isn't working?" Then Richard walked to the front of the plane and found that the pilot was well aware of it. He went to the front of the plane and realized that the pilot is already aware of it. He asked me to go back to my seat and sit down. They had called the airport and the ambulances were there. The pilot had also already informed it to the officials. They had already called the airport and the ambulances are ready there at the airport. I went back and told Mandela that. So Richard again returned to his seat and informed Mandela about this. He just listened and said, "Yes." Mandela just listened to Richard's words and said, "Yes." The plane landed without any trouble. The plane landed without causing any problem or trouble. Nelson remained calm throughout the trip. Nelson did not get panicked. He maintained his calmness. He remained calm throughout the journey. He never changed his expression. He never seemed to be nervous. He never changed his expression. He was reading the newspaper and he remained calm. As we came out of the airport, he said, "I was really scared up there." As they came out of the airport, Nelson Mandela revealed his feeling. Nelson Mandela said that I was really scared up there. I was actually very much afraid up in the flight. Then I realized that this is what courage is all about. So Richard is saying, it is then that I realized, I understood that this is what courage, bravery is all about. This is what courage is all about. Courage is not about not being scared. Bravery does not mean that you shouldn't become scared at all. Courage is not about not being scared. Courage is being terrified and not showing it. It's quite natural that all of us may get scared and afraid at times. But courage is being terrified and not showing it. So Richard Stengel says that I got courage by looking at him because he was pretending not to be scared, and that's what he did his whole life. So Richard Stengel says that actually he was very much shocked and afraid on seeing that the propeller is not working. But he got courage. He got courage by looking at Nelson Mandela, because Nelson Mandela was pretending, acting. Nelson Mandela was acting not to be scared. He was pretending not to be scared, and that's what he did his whole life. Okay, Nelson Mandela had spent 27 years in prison. He was imprisoned for 27 years. But still, he never gave up. He fought for a good cause. He fought for the rights of the black people in South Africa. So, that is what made him so great. Okay, so he gave courage to his fellow beings to fight for a good cause. Okay. And he fought bravely. Nelson Mandela was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993. He was bestowed on the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993. He passed away. He died. He passed away at his home in Johannesburg in December 2013. Okay. So, children, please read this lesson 3 or 4 times and be thorough with it. In the evening class, I will ask you to read this lesson. You should be able to read it fluently. So, read it many times and be prepared to answer any question that I may ask from this lesson. Okay? Then, that's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.